Good evening, Dodger fans. How's everyone feeling out there? And thank you for listening to another episode of the Incline Dodgers podcast, World Series edition. Game 1 is in the books. My goodness, we have a great game to recap. I'll be joined by Jake Reiner in just a few minutes. He's about 15 minutes out. Right now, it's just Kevin Klein rolling. What a game, folks. I mean, I want to hear all your guys' chats in the comment section. Let us know how you're feeling. We already got Noisy Ninja 91. That was so beautiful. Steven2415. What's up, Steven? 1 down, 3 to go. Game 1 official goes the Los Angeles Dodgers way in the history books of the 2024 World Series. 6-3 final score. Freddie Freeman, my goodness. I cannot wait to talk about the most iconic grand slam in MLB history. Finally, it's been a long time since the Dodgers have had something go their way. We're finally on the right side of history. Freddie Freeman delivers. I was just shook. I could not believe what I saw. Trey B still amped up. Frankie Honolulu, thank you for tuning in. Javier T, 3 more wins. I just can't believe it. My goodness. This goes down as one of the best MLB games I've ever watched in my lifetime. So 6-3 was the final score in 10 innings. Freddie Freeman, walk-off grand slam. Who would have ever thought game 1 of the World Series would have a finish like this? I mean, I am still speechless just from this game. It was one of the best games I've ever watched as a Dodgers fan. So much heartbreak that we've had to witness and endure throughout the years. And so far, 2024 has been mostly blessings and a good time as a Dodgers fan. And I am just so grateful for Freddie Freeman to deliver one of the most iconic moments we've ever seen in Los Angeles Dodgers history. You just think about the season he's had. Let's go back to earlier in the year where his son Max was dying of a rare disease, and Freddie Freeman was let me take that back. Freddie Freeman's son Max was battling with a rare disease that could have taken his life. So Freddie Freeman had to step away from the game for a couple weeks, and that took a huge toll on him. This was above baseball. He had to tend to his family and make sure his son would get through this. Then Freddie Freeman comes back to the Dodgers, kind of gets on a roll again, then has a fracture in his finger. That kind of hampered his swing. And then on the last day or the last game against the Padres in a meaningful game, Freddie Freeman rolls his ankle. And we're told that typically this type of injury could put him on the injured list for 4 to 6 weeks. And yet Freddie Freeman was able to find a way to battle through. And tonight was his night. Not Kirk Gibson-esque to the extreme, but the closest thing I think we may ever see again in our lifetimes to what is a Kirk Gibson moment. And that was Freddie Freeman, who delivered a walk-off grand slam. I was just hoping for a single. And once Freddie Freeman got that pitch, he knew it was gone and the stadium was rocking. So yeah, early on, Daniel Barry Sports Highlight is correct. Freddie Freeman is on his way to Series MVP. Micah Claiborne, the legend Frederick. That is damn right. So I want to get through this game, kind of waiting for Jake, but let's just kind of recap what went on in game 1 of the World Series. So in the 5th inning, the Dodgers got off to a 1-0 lead. Kike Hernandez, once again doing Kike things, was able to get, I believe, a triple in the 5th inning. That set the table for Kike at third base with less than 2 outs. Will Smith, next batter up, gets a sac fly. Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. In the 6th inning, Giancarlo Stanton gets a pitch kind of hanging, but out of the zone, underneath the strike zone, hammers a 412-foot home run. Stanton and Soto score. Yankees take a 2-1 lead. In the 8th inning, the Yankees turn to one of their top relievers in Jake and Luke Weaver, and he gets the job done. Then Jake Cousins comes in and gives up a run. And what went on here was in the 8th inning, obviously Shohei Ohtani hit a double. looked like it was going to be a home run, and ultimately Shohei Ohtani ended up at third base. Mookie Betts hit a sacrifice fly. We got a 2-2 ball game. And then in the 10th inning, with Blake Treinen on the mound, things got a little rocky. Jazz Chisholm gets a base hit, steals his way all the way to third, eventually scores on a fielder's choice by Volpe. Then we go to the 10th inning where Cousins gives up. He gets Will Smith to fly out. Then he walks um, Gavin Lux. Tommy Edman comes up clutch. He had a base hit. So we've got first and second, one out. And then Shohei Otani's due up. So Shohei Otani flies out to left field. They ultimately, now we have first and second with two outs. Aaron Boone chooses to bring in Nestor Cortez and they walk Mookie Betts to load the bases. That sets it up for Freddie Freeman, who unloads on a walk-off grand slam, the first ever walk-off grand slam in Major League Baseball history. Simply just iconic. So let's just see what your comments are. So Micah Claiborne, Aaron Boone really said, I'm going to go have Nestor Cortez close out a World Series game. Certainly was a very interesting and bold decision by Aaron Boone. Justin Yamas, Scott Service approved of Aaron Boone, reminiscent of when Ray was put in to face Yordan Alvarez. That's a good point. It was actually shades of exactly Robbie Ray against Yordan Alvarez. Yankees suck. Dennis Gonzalez. Stanton had a Canseco moment with his dinger. Gavin DeLuhosh. Frederick. Charles Freeman. Just an electric game. And I mean, it's only game one, but my goodness, what a freaking way for the Dodgers to set the tone. And it felt like the Dodgers really had control of this game. They were constantly getting runners on, and they just couldn't execute with the runners in scoring position. We look at the box score, and the Dodgers, they were, I don't know why I don't see it. Yeah, so up until Freddie Freeman, they were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and then Freddie Freeman connects for the grand slam. They finished 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Yankees on the flip side as well struggled with runners in scoring position. They were 1 for 8 as well. The difference though is the Yankees were able to steal numerous bags. Jazz Chisholm had looks like 3. Volpe had a stolen base. Dodgers didn't steal any bases. Both these starters let it all out there. This was a pitcher's duel through 6 innings. Garrett Cole pitched great for the Yankees. He went 6 innings, only gave up 1 run. That was the sac fly to Will Smith. Jack Flaherty, if there was anyone doubting this guy's ability, Jack Flaherty absolutely dealt tonight. He went 5 1/3, gave up just 5 hits. The 2-run home run to Giancarlo Stanton, had 6 strikeouts and only 1 walk. Ended up throwing 90 pitches, 55 of them for strikes. And Jack Flaherty's stuff looked good. At times, his ceiling was 96 miles per hour, but mostly he was sitting between 93 and 94 miles per hour on his fastball, and he was dialed in. Every time that he got into a little bit of a jam, whether it was a walk to Juan Soto or a base hit to Anthony Rizzo, he found a way to get out of it, and Jack Flaherty was sensational tonight. He deserves all the credit for keeping the Dodgers in this game. And so anyone that was worried about Jack Flaherty or questioned why the Dodgers would turn to him in game one, you can simply shove it because Jack Flaherty has been phenomenal for the Dodgers, especially in game ones. He was lights out against the New York Mets when he went 7 shutout, and he was great again against the New York Yankees tonight. BC saying, where are the people saying they should bench Freddie for this series and play Chris Taylor? I never understood why people wanted to bench Freddie Freeman in favor of Chris Taylor. Absolutely a ludicrous take. Freddie Freeman at 50% is still better than what we get out of Chris Taylor. And if we had Chris Taylor up there against Nestor Cortez, that would have been a fucking disaster. So thank goodness Dave Roberts had full confidence in Freddie Freeman, and they were able to have him bat against the lefty pitcher in Nestor Cortez. Justin Yama saying, talk about tomorrow's matchup, Rodon versus Yamamoto. Don't worry, we will get to that. Maria G saying, John Boy is in shambles. Barstool in shambles. And she's loving it. I haven't even pulled up any of the John Boy content. I was kind of off social media for the for the most part. I would post some stuff, but I wasn't reading through the comments. I didn't want to see any of the negativity. So I can't wait to scroll through the timeline and kind of see how Yankees fans are reacting. I'm going to pull up some Yankees podcasts tomorrow and just kind of soak it all through, because tonight is our night. Even though it was only a game one, it felt like really set the tone. Hopefully this is the momentum the Dodgers need to steamroll their way through a 2024 World Series victory. So yeah, Jake Reiner should be here in about 5 minutes or so. Feel free to drop any comments, questions. We'll get to those. And then me and Jake will really dive into the analysis. But what a win. Most iconic Grand Slam easily in Major League Baseball history belongs to Freddie Freeman. First ever walk-off Grand Slam in Major League Baseball history. And I can't believe Aaron Boone. You want to talk about awful managerial decisions, and here he is. So we'll hold off on that. There he is, Jake. And what is up, Jake?
Wow, Kevin, we just witnessed one of the greatest all-time moments in World Series history, let alone in Dodgers history. I emptied the tank when he hit that home run. When Freddie Freeman hit that ball in the air, I screamed as loud and for as long as I possibly could. It just emptied the lungs. It was euphoria. It was euphoric. And also just what a great game, too. Back and forth. It was nip and tuck. There were some great defensive plays. There were some weird defensive miscues. Great starting pitching. Great bullpen. And just heroics from the Dodgers stars. I can't get over it. I just can't get over it. I mean, Freddie Freeman's a special player. He's a special, special player. We are so lucky to have him on the Dodgers. And for the game to end that way in game one of the World Series, like Kirk Gibson did. I mean, I know it's not exactly the same, but damn,
It'll easily be the closest of our lifetime.
It's pretty damn close to what that was. I mean, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. What was it like when you saw the ball leave the stadium?
I went numb. I blacked out. I was speechless. I could not believe that this absolutely just happened. Kind of before you got here, I was saying there's been a lot of heartbreak for all us Dodger fans over the last few years. And finally, we're on the right side of the history. This was Freddie Freeman's signature Dodger moment. I feel like he's had a lot of solid moments with the Dodgers, but this is going to be forever the most iconic moment Freddie Freeman will ever have as a Los Angeles Dodger. And what a perfect time to have it in the World Series. Up until this point, you know, especially in the playoffs, we really haven't seen Freddie Freeman flash his true upside like he has done with the Atlanta Braves and at times in the regular season with the Dodgers. But we saw the Hall of Fame talent right now. And like you said, alluding to Kirk Gibson, even though he was playing with a bad ankle, sat a lot of the NLCS, obviously Aaron Boone was putting some disrespect towards Freddie Freeman by intentionally walking Mookie Betts to get the lefty on lefty matchup. But I guess Boone may have forgotten just how special of a talent Freddie Freeman is. And this is something we talked about all season, how this lineup is constructed. You want to walk Ohtani? Well, then you got to have Mookie Betts. If you want to walk Mookie Betts, then you got to face Freddie Freeman. And that played out tonight.
It did. I don't know enough about the Yankees bullpen to make an educated guess, but seeing what I saw warming up in the bullpen beside Nestor Cortez was Tim Hill. Yeah. Why wouldn't you go with Tim Hill there? He's an experienced reliever, high leverage lefty for them. And instead they go with a guy that hasn't pitched since September. So I don't know the thinking there. I saw Boone's quote. It was very Dave Roberts-esque. Kind of, I like him in that spot. And you're right. It's nice to be on the other side of that when your manager doesn't have to say that in absolute shambles after game one. I felt like the Dodgers kind of stole this one. They stole this one from the Yankees. The Yankees should have won this game. There's no doubt about it. The Dodgers had opportunities throughout the game offensively, could not come through. And the Yankees just could not capitalize either. I mean, they left a ton of runners on base.
Yeah, they were
And
both
so,
1 for 8.
yeah. So I felt like the Dodgers just woke up and stole this one, which is something we know about their offense, right? It can be dormant for the entire game. And then all of a sudden in the 10th inning, it wakes up out of nowhere, which is why I don't get too high. I don't get too low during these games. I guess I've learned, I'm in my 30s now. So I guess I've kind of learned how it goes and to control your emotions. But watching this Dodgers team all year, you just think if they can keep it close, either tied or, 1-run deficit, just give them a shot to where one swing makes a difference. And that's all you really need. And that's what happened tonight. And I'll say one more thing that we had talked about, kind of pat ourselves on the back here, Kevin, is that we made the point that by resting Freddie Freeman in game 6 against the Mets and giving this sort of extended break to him off of his feet, he looked a lot better tonight than he did during that NLCS. And I think the extra treatment, whatever they did, surely helped, because he not only hit a grand slam, but earlier in the game, he hit a triple.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an easy triple. He had to leg that one out. And incredible job to take the extra 90 feet there. And he looked like he was running pretty good. Still not 100%, obviously, but what do you make of that time off, Kevin? I mean, it seemed to have worked for him.
Appreciate everyone tuning in with us. Hit that like button, share with your friends, get the viewership up here. So one of my takeaways that you just mentioned with the time off, and hopefully this plays to our advantage, and might be scary and terrifying if you're a Yankees fan right now. The Dodgers just had a number of days off and they were kind of rusty. So that's why I think part of the reason they were a little off with their timing, went 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And they might, starting tomorrow, just completely unload and look like the Dodgers offense that we saw against the New York Mets. Because when you get a few days off, sometimes you get a little rusty. You got to shake the dust off, and I feel like that was some of the Dodgers tonight, like Shohei Ohtani, Will Smith. Both of them especially looked a little off tonight. But I mean, let's talk about the Aaron Boone and the Nestor Cortez decision, because honestly, I don't freaking get it. Like if George Steinbrenner was alive right now, I feel like that's a fireable offense for Aaron Boone. Like, I just don't know how you can justify that bullpen decision at all. I don't think Nestor Cortez has pitched in 5 weeks. He didn't pitch at all in the playoffs, obviously.
He hasn't pitched since September.
You mentioned Tim Hill. We've talked about Tim Hill a few times. Even though he doesn't have the best stuff, this guy seems to get the sinker ball down and induces ground outs and double plays against the Dodgers. And I am just baffled that Tim Hill wasn't the guy they went to, a guy that had been pretty good for them in the postseason, and you get the lefty on lefty matchup.
He is their high leverage lefty. Yes. I mean,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What else is he on the team for? This is the job Tim Hill is on the Yankees roster for. Late inning, high leverage. It's either Ohtani or Freeman or Muncy. Those are the hitters that he has obviously been studying and working to get out. Why you don't go to him and you go to a guy that hasn't pitched him in forever? If I was a Yankees fan, I would be incensed right now.
Oh my God. I can't wait to download and listen to John Boy and Michael K and everyone just bitching about what went wrong. I was watching the Red Sox documentary special on the 2004 Red Sox comeback, and part of the leading up to this whole thing was when Grady Little left Pedro Martinez in for too long and ultimately got fired. If the Yankees lose this World Series, I don't know if Cashman and the son Steinbrenner has the balls to fire Boone, but honestly, like I just don't know what is going through your head to go with Nestor Cortez against the heart of the Dodgers lineup. And not to gloat here, because I know that one Yankees fan commented a few days ago that I was being very cocky when I had this take and an analysis. I said if the Yankees are going to turn to Nestor Cortez, the Dodgers will make him pay, because the one thing that the Dodgers have thrived on this season, Kodai Senga was an example, and now Nestor Cortez is the next example. You're going to throw a guy who's been rusty and high leverage. Dodgers are going to own that guy. And it was a first pitch to Freeman, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So first pitch to Freeman. Freeman knew the second he made contact, it was gone. And I've never played Major League Baseball, so I don't know the feeling. But to hit a home run 400 feet or whatever and know instantly it's gone, that must have been a pretty bad pitch.
It was a terrible pitch. The Dodgers struggle against high leverage relievers that throw gas, and they thrive off of pitchers that do what Nestor Cortez does, which is not that. And the pitch he threw to Freddie Freeman was right in his kitchen, and he was hunting it. There's no doubt about he was hunting that pitch, and he destroyed it. I haven't seen Freddie Freeman hit a ball like that maybe all year. He, hits home runs, but not bombs like that. That was special. That was absolutely special. What a devastating loss for the Yankees, though. That is brutal and crushing. But for the Dodgers to steal this game, huge, because you lose game one, you're down 0-1, and now game two becomes a must-win game for you already in the series, because you really don't want to go down 0-2 going back to New York. I mean, the advantage completely flips. In fact, even a 1-1 split, if the Yankees salvage the game tomorrow, they've got home field advantage. So these two games are crucial. If the Dodgers can figure out a way to win game two and go up 2-0 back to New York, I mean, that is the best case scenario.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the game day pitch by pitch, and it was a 92 mile per hour four-seam fastball, bottom corner right of the strike zone, and it's in one of Freddie Freeman's best zones. It's a red square, and Nestor gave him a cookie, and that's part of the reason Freddie was just able to get all of it. So
yeah, that was a terrible pitch, just like the curveball that Flaherty hung to Stanton. Oh, that was another horrific pitch, especially with two strikes. Yeah. But this is the first offering you're giving to Freddie Freeman. You're just gonna give him one to hit and see what happens.
Horrible. So where does this Freeman home run rank for you now as all-time Dodgers moments you've gotten to witness in your lifetime? We don't get to say Kirk Gibson because we weren't around.
I mean, it's tough because I think about the Will Smith versus Will Smith. I think about the Cody Bellinger go-ahead home run in the NLCS of Game 7. I think Justin Turner in 2017 off the Cubs. And I was there in person for the Max Muncy walk-off, the 18-inning walk-off in the 2018 World Series. And I was there in the 2013 NLDS Juan Uribe against the Braves. So I would say that this might be the best moment ever in that I've been alive for in Dodgers history. Just given all of the circumstances, I don't know. Oh, and we saw Chris Taylor. You and I were there for Chris Taylor's walk-off home run against the Cardinals in the wild card game in 21. Mm-hmm. So we've seen a lot of historic and dramatic home runs, but given the context, I don't know if there is one better than this one right now.
I would tend to agree. I don't think you can top it. A walk-off grand slam, never been done before. Game one. Hopefully this is the momentum for the Dodgers to carry it forward, and we can look back on this moment and say this was the moment, the turning point that helped the Dodgers win the World Series. And so we'll see what they look like tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat this. Going to just read some comments for sure. Gerald B. Carrillo, 3 more wins. That's why Freddie is MVP. BC saying Freddie was born in SoCal to hit that grand slam. Dennis Gonzalez cried tears of joy. Gaither White, I laughed when I saw $1,400 to get in the door. Would have been worth $4,000. Jake You and everyone else from Los 17s. Robbie Suedo 13. I cried when I saw the Grand Slam and win. JD's third. I've seen enough. Dodgers in 5. Maria G saying Freddie deserved it the most.
Someone tweeted that the Kirk Gibson home run and the Freddie Freeman home run both occurred at 8:37 p.m.
That'd be very trippy if that's
I don't
true.
know if that's true, but yeah. I mean, I think it is true.
Gavin DeLuhosh, A-Rod and Jeter didn't understand it either. Locked on Dodgers. Hey guys, congrats to all of us. No doubt about it. Yeah, go ahead and get your questions in, people. Hit that like button. We'll get to all your guys' questions. So kind of just want to go through this game real quick and talk about some key moments. I know some people were upset that the Dodgers left Jack Flaherty in there in the 6th inning. And honestly, that's just hindsight is 2020. And if you feel like it was a mistake to leave Jack Flaherty in there for the 6th, honestly, you can just suck it, because I thought it was the right move to continue to leave Flaherty out there.
100%.
He was he was dealing. It was only the 6th inning. It's not like he was getting into much trouble. His pitch count was at a good spot. And Giancarlo Stanton just happened to get a load of a good pitch that technically wasn't a strike, but it hung up just enough that Stanton was able to uncork on it and ultimately knocked Flaherty out of the game. But I mean, the batter before, he handled Aaron Judge. He handled Aaron Judge all night. They had a strategy. Clearly, they didn't want Juan Soto to be the guy that beat them. They walked him a couple times. I honestly just don't get the people that said it was a mistake to leave Flaherty in, because they probably were going to go to Gratterall. And if Gratterall is the guy that gives up the 2-run home run, then you know what those people are going to say? It would have been a mistake to pull Flaherty.
Right. You can't have it both ways. I just feel like that was fine. I mean, he was cruising, and he made that one mistake to Stanton, and that was pretty much it. I'm trying to find how many pitches he was at. Well, he was at 90 pitches.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't understand what's wrong with that. And then our bullpen handled the rest of it. I thought Jack Flaherty really stepped up tonight and gave us a really strong 5 1/3. I think that given the circumstances of how thin the Dodgers rotation is in this postseason and what they've consistently gotten from their starters, this is more than you can ask for, I think. Yeah. 6, you're thinking 4 to 5 innings, 3 runs or less. You take that every single time. This offense, it has enough firepower in it to win ball games when you do that. And to give up 2 runs over 5 1/3, I will take that every time out.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He gets a lot of credit for why the Dodgers were in this game. And I just love the fact that he is from LA, grew up in LA. They said on the broadcast his first Dodger game was like when he was 6 months old. And here he is taking game 1 of the World Series for the Los Angeles Dodgers, his favorite team, hometown team. And that's just epic. Another thing I wanted to comment on, kind of switching gears here real quick. So Joe Davis on the walk-off call with Freddie Freeman gave a nod to Vince Scully when he said, "She is gone." Do you like that call?
Loved it. It was great. It was really, really well done. Also, Steven Nelson's call on the radio. If you haven't heard that one,
I gotta listen to that. I have
that one's pretty epic. I mean, he kind of loses his voice.
Do we know if Sterling was announcing for the Yankees?
He probably was. He has been this whole postseason.
I gotta find that too.
Yeah, I need to hear that one.
And I gotta get the Japanese call.
I've seen, and I heard the Dodgers Spanish radio too. That was pretty great. I have also been enjoying all of the sad John Boy fans, Yankees fans, just dejected. Those are always my favorite videos. I loved watching those videos throughout the Mets series too, with Frank the Tank just absolutely losing his mind. And
there's got to be a watch party out there, right?
Oh, there is. The greatest thing is that they film these reactions, and they're devastating. And if you're the team that is benefiting from it, it is really, really nice to watch. Speaking of 2 pitchers, Kevin, that, we spoke about Nestor Cortez not pitching for a while, but Vesia missed an entire series. Gratterall has missed a ton of time as well. For those guys to come back and do what they did and basically shove in their relief appearances, both Gratterall and Vesia pitched scoreless innings, 3 strikeouts between them, 1 hit between them. Just amazing job stepping up from this bullpen that,
Mm-hmm.
they came in and they hadn't pitched in forever. So
Yeah.
unbelievable job.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, but they lost Evan Phillips. Everyone knows Evan Phillips is their firearm guy, their fireman guy, and one of their best high leverage relievers. And Vesia and Gratterall came through tonight. Huge for the Dodgers bullpen. We'll get to your questions if you continue to drop them in the chat. So Noisy Ninja 91. Did you guys see John Boy's Talking Yanks Twitter putting out a Yankees win picture before the Grand Slam? I did see. Unfortunate MLB caught that. That is just hilarious.
How do you do that? How?
John Boy's been going downhill. Like, they used to be, in my opinion, like the premier baseball content creators. And the last couple of years, I don't know if they've gotten cocky or they caught a little whiff of the Anthony Rendon tea, but they are just declining.
Yeah, well, too bad, guys. You
Eric
lost.
Flores, Kevin called the Nestor destruction. Thank you, Eric, for my credit. I'm right every now and then, and thankfully I got this one right.
Hey, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
So another decision that I saw some people upset about, and frankly, I didn't mind it. I believe it was in the 7th inning. So the Dodgers had runners on first and second, and Dave Roberts told Kike Hernandez to bunt the guys over. It was a successful bunt. Ultimately, Kike was thrown out at first, but the Dodgers were in a prime position. They had second and third with 1 out, and all you needed from Will Smith was a sac fly. He wasn't able to come through, and then Gavin Lux grounded out as well, and the Dodgers left the bases juiced with second and third and couldn't capitalize. Did that move bother you, or was it just, unfortunate roll of the dice?
Here's what bothered me. And this is coming from someone that, if you know me or have heard me speak before, I love bunts. I love sacrifices. I love small ball. And majority of the time I am for it, especially in the playoffs, because you got to be able to manufacture runs, scratch runs across whenever you can. So I don't dislike the idea, but I think taking the bat out of Kike Hernandez's hands in the postseason is a massive mistake and should never happen, because this guy has a knack for the moment. He'd already hit a triple in this game and was feeling it. And when you have first and second and nobody out, to lay down a bunt there, okay, fine, you move the runners over. But Will Smith has been struggling, and I know why they did it, because Will Smith, I don't know, I think either led the league or led the majors in sacrifice flies this year. So I understand the move, and you think that, if Will Smith can get a fly ball there, you can cash in a run. The problem I had too was the fact that before Kike laid down the bunt, you had Max Muncy, who got hit by a pitch.
Yes.
But who was the pitcher who was in at that time for
that
them?
was Holmes, right?
Yeah, Clay Holmes. He was wild. And so my problem with Will Smith is why he's swinging at the first pitch.
That was my issue.
Why are you not taking there? See a strike.
Yeah.
Work the count. The guy's on the ropes. Wait for a better pitch. Instead, he swings at the first pitch and he pops it up. Look, if you're going to swing at the first pitch, you better hit it out, or you better hit the ball to the outfield like Freddie Freeman. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I haven't always been the biggest Dave Roberts defender, but once again, here I am on Dave Roberts' side, because in my opinion, he managed a flawless game. And I personally, even though Kike Hernandez has been phenomenal in October, like you mentioned, at the end of the day here, we're just trying to manufacture some runs in, because runs come out of premium, and we were only down 2-1. You get that run to tie the game. Ultimately, if they had executed there, they were going to take the lead anyways because they got a run in the next inning. But yeah, my issue is the bunt's great. That was the move. But Will Smith needs to have more discipline there. He's been having a lot of low IQ at bats lately. I just don't get what's in his head sometimes. He's like over trying to compensate and play hero too much when all we're asking is for you to drive in the run and get the sac fly. And so, frankly, it would have been a brilliant decision, I think, from most Dodger fans had Will Smith done his part. But once again, in hindsight, people are upset about giving away the out with Kike. And I mean, as great as Kike Hernandez is, he's still Kike at the end of the day. Like, he's not Shohei Ohtani or Mookie Betts, where you expect him to do something every time he's up there at the plate. Sometimes you got to do the little things and expect your counterparts, like the Will Smiths, who are all-star level players, to do their part.
I think both things can be true. Will Smith needed to do his job and did not. But I also think, and I'm not just saying this in hindsight because of how it turned out, but I said to the group of people I was watching with, I was like, I don't know about this bunt. I really don't like the idea of taking the bat out of one of the greatest postseason hitters of all time. I mean, let's be real. He is one of the greats in terms of playoff production. So
yeah,
I don't like that move, generally speaking. But there was another moment in this game that won't get talked about as much because that Will Smith pop up to the infield was so egregious. But in the inning prior, in the bottom of the sixth, Tommy Edman led off with a double, and you had Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie coming up. Shohei grounds out, Mookie grounds out, Freddie Freeman flies out, and that was another just lost opportunity because they had a runner at third with less than 2 outs with, now Mookie and Freddie up, and they don't come through there. So the Dodgers obviously would like to have a lot of these opportunities back. I believe that that's why they stole this one, because they didn't have that great of an offensive approach all night, and then all of a sudden exploded with Freddie Freeman. They were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So I know that that's something that they can improve upon. And to win a game when you're 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, the one being the Freddie Freeman grand slam, I just feel like that's the best case scenario, because if you got 1 win under your belt, you can fix those issues and come out tomorrow and get some hits with runners in scoring position.
Just drop the link to our Discord feed if you want to come talk with other Dodger fans and continue the World Series ride. I haven't even read the Discord in the last couple hours, so I got to see all the Freddie Freeman comments from you people. Chris Dudley, Gratterall barehanding that hit, then just standing there like a pimp was the moment I knew we'd win. Honestly, I felt like we were frozen in time when that comebacker came to Gratterall, because he definitely held on to that ball for like a good second. You could have said one Mississippi and he still had the ball in his hand, and then he threw it over to first. I don't know if that was like a taunt or like just, I'm the man type of move from Gratterall, but I love seeing that shit. And that's one thing that the Dodgers have had a lot in them this season. The last couple years, I kind of feel like we've let other teams bully us and out taunt us. And this season, the Dodgers, they're flexing their muscles, but they're doing it with class and they're having fun out there. And it's just been a great group. It's been a great collective and a great group that this Dodgers team has assembled. And, we'll see how the next few games play out. But this does feel like a very special year from the Dodgers.
They call them the bullpen dogs for a reason. These guys are these guys are a part of the best bullpen I've ever seen. And that they are by leaps and bounds, I think, the best bullpen in baseball. And it just, you lose Evan Phillips, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people talk about Evan Phillips as being one of the best relievers in baseball, but he is. You lose a guy like Evan Phillips, oh, don't worry. We've got Brusdar Graterol and Alex Vesia ready to go. Like, that's crazy to me that is the response, and that we didn't take that massive of a hit losing a guy like Evan Phillips.
Yeah, No doubt about it. And this is actually a good point from Dennis Gonzalez. I wanted to bring this up, and then we got into a lot of things, so it escaped my mind. So I'm glad Dennis mentioned this. How essential was that Tommy Edman diving stop in the sixth inning? I mean, that was
Huge.
massive. That had to have saved at least a run.
It did. It prevented Jazz Chisholm from scoring. It was huge. Tommy Edman has been great at shortstop. It sucked though. There was the where the Yankees pulled ahead. Was unfortunate because the infield was drawn in. This was in the top of the 10th, right?
What was in the top of the 10th?
Yeah, where the Yankees scored their
Yes.
run.
Yes.
Yeah.
The third run was the 10th. Yes.
Yeah. So the fact that we had a tailor-made double play ball. If the runners were back, that would have been a routine ground ball and it would have been an easier play. But Edman made a great stop, but he just could not flip the ball to second base in time to turn two. They ended up getting the out anyway, but the run scored as a result. There were so many of those plays, like Gleyber Torres not being able to field the relay throw from the outfield, and it allowed Shohei Ohtani to move up, and we score that run. So many different little moments that swayed the momentum. It was such a momentum shift of a game. It was back and forth, and it was, with the Yankees and then with the Dodgers, and just the swings of emotion in this game were crazy.
Juan Soto looks pretty rough out there in right field as well.
Yes.
He definitely helped us get one of those runs on the board. What was I going to say? Okay, so we talked about the Tommy Edman defense. So that's what I was going to get into. The Dodgers defense overall was once again sensational. That first inning, I don't remember if they ruled it an error. I think they did against Tommy Edman. It just came off the bat weird from Stanton. It had a lot of spin on it, and Edman just couldn't pick it cleanly. But he definitely made up for it later in the game. He turned a double play that was huge against Juan Soto. The diving stop that we just talked about to prevent the run from scoring. Muncy looked very good at third base. He picked a few balls and everything hit in his direction. He was able to cleanly field it, and the outfield did their job. So once again, the Dodgers defense stepping up. The only thing that they kind of need to work on is keeping the Yankees runners held on base, because they gave up way too many stolen bases for my liking. But other than that, the defense once again had a very great showing out there. JRM asking us, who is or are your X factor for game 2?
Look for a bounce back game from Will Smith. I'm sure he wants to get those opportunities back to because he seems to always come up with runners on base. But I think also one of our X factors is going to be Teoscar Hernandez, because the Dodgers are going to be facing Carlos Rodon. He feasts on left-handed pitching, and I expect him to have his moment tomorrow night.
Kike Hernandez is 3 for 6 against Rodon with 3 home runs. So he'll be my X factor tomorrow. I think Kike Hernandez will be going yard. I'm taking it to the bank. Ivy saying, please no Rojas tomorrow. Keep Edman in, God damn it. So it sounds like they've already confirmed Rojas will be in the starting lineup. So if I had to guess, that means Rojas at shortstop, Edman in center field, and Kike Hernandez at second base. So that means Andy Pages, who even though he swung a pretty good bat in the NLCS, I guess he's relegated to the bench.
I just think it's stupid. Why mess this up? This is a solid lineup as it is. Why would you put Rojas back in there? I don't understand it. He's got some hold over this team where it's like they've got to play him. They've got to, put him on a pedestal. I don't get it. I mean, I get, he's a veteran. He is a good shortstop. He did have a good season for us. He is one of the vocal leaders in the clubhouse. I understand all that, but Pages has had a good playoffs and he's got pop.
Yeah.
Rojas does not. And so to me, you don't lose anything with Edman at shortstop. It's not like you're putting Rojas in there because you need like a legitimate shortstop in there.
Yeah.
Edman has been great. And they seem to be fine with Pages in center field. They've used him a ton of times. I don't love him out there, but they do. Clearly, they've started him in many postseason games this postseason in center field. So I don't understand the move. I don't get it, but hopefully it doesn't hurt us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest Rojas guy right now, but it is what it is. It's not like they're going to go out there and pitch Michael Grove, so that something like that would really piss me off. We'll see what happens, I
Look,
guess.
the comment from Chris Dudley says Rodon is a lefty. Lux is terrible against lefties. Yeah, Lux is not going to be in there regardless, but you don't have to start Rojas. Is the point.
The one that's actually kind of weird is if there was a matchup to play Chris Taylor, it'd be tomorrow. He's 5 for 9 with a home run against Rodon, but that probably is Chris Taylor when he was a good baseball player. Who knows what version of Chris Taylor you get now?
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going based on matchups, then put Tris Taylor in center field. I mean, I just don't understand why Rojas has to start. I don't get it.
Because he's on this team. Low 17s.
He better not. The Dodgers offense better score enough runs to where he's not a factor, is all I have to say.
I'm sure Rojas wants to redeem himself. Hopefully he can have a Hollywood ending.
Let's hope. He better.
Low 17s, win for 34. The one thing I'll add, since we haven't really touched on this in the podcast yet, Fernando obviously passed away a few days ago. The tribute they gave to him before the game was just beautiful. It had to have been a really hard moment for his family to be out there on the field tonight.
Yeah, you could see it on their faces. They were really, really moved.
But anyone that's a Dodgers fan knows that Fernando Valenzuela is one of the most important figures ever to put on a Dodgers uniform. Top 5 Dodgers pitcher ever, in my opinion. And I can't speak for the community, but I know many would say he was just a massive and important symbol for the Mexican culture out there, and really brought a whole fan base to Dodger Stadium that's continued to fuel this city since Fernando came up in 1981. So, I mean, I was surprised that he had passed away so young. Obviously, he was dealing with some type of illness that they were aware about for at least a couple of years now, or a year now, since he stepped away from the booth. But the Dodgers have done everything right. I love that on the outfield wall, when you kind of walk into Dodger Stadium, it's a giant mural of Fernando, and then they had the 34 on the mound, and then next to his number, they had, I believe, like a flower cross. So just a really great way to pay tribute to one of the most important Dodgers ever.
Yeah, he has to be on the Mount Rushmore, I think, of legendary Dodgers, along with Tommy Lasorda and Vin Scully. You know, he is the Dodgers. He is one of those larger than life legends for this team, and what he meant to, like you said, the Latino fans, but also just overall Dodgers fans. For two people like you and me, Kevin, who never saw him pitch, we still know what Fernando Mania was. We know what it felt like, what it meant to Dodgers fans, and for him to continue on his career as a Spanish radio booth, broadcaster. It just speaks to how beloved he is and how cherished he is. And so, yeah, it is a really sad thing to lose him, especially this being the first time the Dodgers and Yankees are squaring off since the World Series that he appeared in as a rookie in 1981.
Neo, I do not like your bullying right now in the chat. I have put you in a timeout, so clean up your act. Do not do what you're doing in the chat. That's not cool, bro. Okay, so let's see. Get your final questions in there, guys. What else is there to talk about? I mean, I feel like I still haven't taken in the fact that the Dodgers won on a walk-off grand slam tonight. Like, I have so much tape I need to roll through for both Dodgers and the Yankees side of things. Just a beautiful moment. So I guess to just kind of recap what we've been talking about tonight, Freddie Freeman grand slam, one of the most iconic moments ever in Dodgers history. Just the fact that he was playing on a bad ankle, had the issues off the field with his son who was battling an illness, able to come back despite the injuries, hit the grand slam, because they chose to walk Mookie Betts to face Freddie Freeman. Just an iconic moment, and the fact that it happened in the World Series. The Dodgers posted a quote from Freeman saying, "Those are the kind of things when you're 5 years old with your 2 year old with your two older brothers and you're playing wiffle ball in the backyard. Those are the scenarios you dream about." And 2 outs, bases loaded in a World Series game. Freddie Freeman on his walk-off grand slam.
Here's a question. I know that Freddie Freeman's Dodger career is far from over, and there are many more moments to be had, but where does Freddie Freeman rank in, maybe, I don't know if he's one of your favorite Dodgers or not, but where does he rank in terms of greatest Dodgers we've seen while we've been alive and while we've been fans?
So that's a really good question. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who would be considered the greatest Dodgers first baseman, and I want to make sure I'm not snubbing anyone.
Karros and Adrian Gonzalez come to
Oh,
mind.
they're not even the same class as Freddie Freeman. Okay, so they got Gil Hodges as one, and
No, I'm
then
saying of the ones that we've been
oh,
around for.
Eric Eric Karros. You look at his numbers; he wasn't all that impressive. There's a reason those Dodgers teams didn't really go
All right, well, we don't
anywhere.
need to disparage those guys, Kevin. Jesus.
All right, so fine. To cut to the chase, Freddie Freeman is easily the best Dodgers first baseman I've ever seen in my lifetime. I don't even think it's close. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He'll probably don an Atlanta Braves cap, but that's okay. We'll still respect and remember his days with the Dodgers. All we're asking, and the reason Freddie Freeman's out here, is to win a World Series, and hopefully mission accomplished will be had in year 3. So Freddie Freeman, from pure hitters, I mean, I'd have to really think about it, but from everyone I've seen, top 5 Dodgers hitter ever.
He reminds me of like a Tony Gwynn, where he's just such a good hitter. He's a surgical hitter. He's able to put the ball wherever he wants. I guess the difference being is that he's got a lot more pop than Tony Gwynn did, but just the way he handles the bat, the way he works the count, but also how he fights back when he's behind in the count, changes his swing, changes his approach, meets the moment. I mean, he's so good. The Dodgers, I think, though, if they take care of business and win 3 more games, and Freddie gets that ring with the Dodgers, he's going to be forever a Dodgers legend. And this moment will go down as not only one of the greatest Dodgers moments of all time, but one of the greatest baseball moments ever.
Oh yeah, easily. I don't know what they do with that ball. We haven't even talked about that yet, but I don't know who caught the ball. What would they do with that ball? Would it go to Cooperstown? Would it go into an auction? I know that the Shohei Ohtani 50 home run ball went for like $4.5 million. This Grand Slam ball has to go for at least $1 million, if not more, I'd have to guess. But it's the only walk-off Grand Slam ball in baseball history. So that has to have a lot of value right there.
Yeah, that ball is I don't even know. I have no idea, but it's going to be a lot.
Okay, we'll hit some quick questions real quick, and then we'll just kind of roll through our final thoughts. Eric Flores, what are your expectations from Yoshinobu Yamamoto tomorrow?
I expect him to give us what Flaherty gave us, if not more. That's all we need. 5 innings, 3 runs or less. Give me 6. That would be amazing. 7, unheard of.
So on June 7th, Yoshinobu Yamamoto went to Yankee Stadium, threw 7 scoreless innings, only allowed 2 hits, had 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 106 pitches thrown that evening, with 72 of them being for strikes. What it's going to come down with Yamamoto, like it does with all his starts as of late, as long as he has control of his pitches, he's got the stuff to blow it past these Yankees hitters. The fact that Yamamoto's got that nasty splitter and a really sick curveball, I think he's gonna have a brilliant start against the Yankees tomorrow. The Yankees aren't like the Padres, where it feels like everything you throw at the Padres, they rarely swing and miss at. The Yankees have some holes in their swings they do have a great tendency to get on base as well. But the difference is you can get the Yankees to strike out as opposed to the Padres. So as long as Yamamoto has control of his pitches, I think he's going to turn into gem tomorrow. I think the Dodgers will be relatively semi-conservative with his pitch count. I don't expect him to exceed more than 85 pitches, but I think 80 to 85 is what we'll see from Yamamoto. So hopefully that's enough to go 4, if not 5 innings. And that's honestly my expectations. I think Carlos Rodon, who's going to take the ball for the Yankees, I honestly think we're going to have a really good outing against him. I've never been too high on him. We've seen him a fair amount when he wore a San Francisco Giants uniform. Guys like Mookie Betts and Teoscar Hernandez and Kike, the righties, one of them's going to get a hold of a pitch, and I think we'll get a couple home runs off Rodon.
I mean, the fact that the Yankees got 6 innings of 1-run baseball with 4 strikeouts from Garrett Cole and lost, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. This was the game I think that they believed they had the best shot in to win in LA, and now they're going to Rodon, who they need a must. It's not a must win, but it's pretty close to that for the Yankees right now.
Yeah, you do not want to go down 0-2 in a World Series. Was this game worth the $1,000 price tag to see in person? Absolutely. Based off the ending, I could have gone to the game if I wanted to drop that pretty penny as well. And now I kind of regret it because I could have said I went to a walk-off Grand Slam game, but I watched it from home. So I guess to add a little story to that, I had family over, some family friends over. I was the only one engaged in the World Series. And when that Grand Slam happened, I started screaming and everyone was like, they knew good things were happening because they knew I was watching the game, but no one just understood the magnitude of a walk-off Grand Slam. And I had to like tell it over 3 times.
That's tough, Kevin. That's really tough.
Just going through final questions real quick, and then we'll get to the end of the show. I'm not really seeing anything worth reading right now. Yeah. Okay. So we'll get into the final thoughts right now. So I don't know if Dave Roberts commented about this game or anyone else besides Freddie Freeman. I haven't really had the chance to read through the presser interviews yet, but ultimately the way I'm viewing this game, kind of like what Jake was saying, I don't want to say the Yankees earned this game more than the Dodgers could have, but or the fact that the Dodgers stole this game, because I feel like both these teams were evenly matched, and that's why it went to extra innings. It just happened that Aaron Boone made a very questionable and obviously a catastrophic decision that cost the Yankees this game. The way I'm looking at it right now, the Dodgers are going to do better with the runners in scoring position. And the fact that they were able to post 6 runs today, despite going 1 for 8 with the runners in scoring position, I wouldn't be surprised if we drop double digits tomorrow. Shohei Ohtani's due for a home run. Mookie Betts has been hot in the postseason. Teoscar Hernandez is still the guy that I think is going to go off in this World Series. I think the Dodgers offense is going to continue to pick up where they left off yesterday. And I'd be terrified right now if I'm a Yankees fan. It's not going to be 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position tomorrow. It's going to be 3 for 8 or 4 for 8.
I agree. And that's what I said before. The fact that the Dodgers were able to win a game where they were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, you'll take that every single time. It's not a recipe for success. They don't want to continue to do that, but at least you can correct that for the next game, having won this game tonight. I think what is remarkable about this series so far and what I've seen in just one game is that if the game is close like it is, 1 run, if it's tied or if you're within 3 runs, right? Both these teams rely so much on the slug, so much on home runs that it's going to be intense every pitch. And any time, at any moment, the game could get flipped on its head because of the sheer power in both of these lineups. So the fact that we got this game, an extra inning game that ended with a walk-off grand slam for game 1, not saying that every game's going to be like this, but it does set the stage for a pretty epic World Series, a back and forth battle.
Absolutely. The fact that this was going to be marqueed as one of the most watched and hyped World Series in a long, long time. 43 years since the Dodgers and Yankees have faced each other in the World Series. And you get a game one like this, back and forth, goes to extra innings, ends in a walk-off, is just the tip of the cap for what's going to be a memorable and iconic World Series, and maybe and potentially a rivalry to come where the Dodgers and Yankees face off multiple times in the World Series, where you get a Shohei versus Judge. Don't know about Soto yet, but you get Shohei versus Judge, Betts versus Judge, Betts and Freddie versus Garrett Cole, you name it. And the Yankees are going to load up on new stars if they lose Soto anyway, so it'll continue to go. But I just wanted to say that, this game kind of played out how we teed it up and previewed it. We talked about how Giancarlo Stanton is the one guy you can't really leave a pitch to because he's going to kill you in October. That's what he did. We talked about how Kike Hernandez is one of the best clutch October hitters for the Dodgers. Showed that again once again tonight. We mentioned that we felt pretty confident in Jack Flaherty was going to have a rebound start. That's exactly what he did. We've talked about and highlighted about this Dodgers bullpen being absolute nails. And once again, they came through for this team. It's always a next man up, and they all seem to step up. And then I talked about Nestor Cortez, a red flag trying to go to him in a World Series. And obviously he gave up the grand slam. The one thing that I don't think either of us saw coming was Freddie Freeman hitting a grand slam, let alone even going yard in general.
Yeah, I don't think even he saw that coming. So that was a shock. But knowing who Freddie Freeman is and what he's capable of, this is on brand for him. He's played through a bad ankle. If this was a normal circumstance in the middle of the season, he'd be out for a month or at least a month and a half with this injury. And he's back on the field hitting walk-off bombs in the World Series. I mean, wow, just unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's game one. This it feels like this was like a game 6 or game 7, but we still got more baseball to come. That was only game 1. So, wow, what a way to start.
Huge.
It's been a fun postseason ride for the Dodgers so far. Finally, the amount of misery. All right, Jake. Anything else before we say bye?
No, this is a great night for Los Angeles Lakers as well. 2-0, fantastic night.
Didn't even follow the Lakers score once tonight. Maybe I'll check that out tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the Incline Dodgers podcast, please do so right now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, whether it's on the audio feed or YouTube, and we'll be back tomorrow. Everyone, have a good night. Go Dodgers.